Hello YouTube, I've been collecting these guys for a long time now. I've done a video on them in the past, but this is a recap video because I've collected a lot more since my last video. So these guys are called, some people call them Tamagoras, some people call them Mostruovi, but to me they're known as egg monsters. They were made by Bandai in the 80s, and all of the ones that you see in this video are all original Bandai versions. So this one that I'm showing you here is the one that I actually had when I was a kid, this little skeleton man. And he's the reason that I started collecting these in the first place. Because I saw this one, this little dinosaur, T-Rex, again, skeleton version. And when I saw that, I thought I've got to have that one to go with the little skeleton man. And then it's all just kind of gone from there, really. You'll see in a minute there's a little Stegosaurus skeleton as well. So they're a great little set of three in their own right. They're just like the original GoBots in that they're really kind of intricate, really precision made, and they transform like really kind of perfectly, really neatly and really crisply. Yeah, this is my little Stegosaurus skeleton, and you can see he's got all of his original spikes on his back. These quite often get broken off, as you can imagine, they're quite small. And then the ones down the tail are even smaller. So again, they quite often get snapped off. So this is a particularly nice little example. Next, we have a Triceratops. Now, you've got to be careful with a lot of these because there are a lot of knockoff versions around. So if you're wanting to collect these original Bandai ones, which are the best quality ones, you've got to make sure when you buy them, like if you buy them on eBay or something, make sure there's a picture, or make sure you've asked the seller the question, is this an original one? Because on the inside of these, they have Bandai clearly written on them, and it says 1980. I think it's 1987, most of them. So you need to kind of check that that's on there so that you're getting the quality, because the knockoff ones, they look pretty good from a distance, but up close, they're pretty rubbish, really. Yeah, a lot of them lack the quality and the crispness that these ones have got, the sort of precision manufacturing. So here we've got another T-Rex, and this is, yeah, the silver T-Rex, another really cool version. So all of these, they just transform, all of the little legs and everything just fold into the body, and you can turn them into like a complete egg. Right, this guy's called Baltan, and he's like an alien. He's pretty cool. He's got like these kind of pincers that open and close. So really kind of unusual looking thing. This is one of the probably the harder ones to get hold of. It took me a while to source this one, but I'm really pleased that I did. And this is a really nice example again. I've tried to get as good an example as I can on all of these, but yeah, they're all pretty cool. I've got a few with like a couple of rusty screws or whatever, but most of them are pretty minty condition. Okay, next we have this brown beetle. This I think is a rhinoceros beetle, and again, really nice example. Like if you look at the legs, they've got a lot of joints on there, a lot of detail. You can move them into all kinds of different positions, the legs, and they all fold in really neatly. But yeah, the reason that I'm pointing this one out as being a brown beetle is because I'm going to show you the next one after this is also, I think, a beetle. Quite often it's called an ant, but if you look at the jaws on this one, I mean, maybe it is supposed to be an ant, but to me it looks more like a stag beetle. So I was thinking probably it's a stag beetle, but either way, you can see it's a lot lighter brown in colour. The legs, again, are very similar with a lot of joints. But yeah, just another nice example to add to the kind of insect section of this whole collection of egg monsters. Okay, so next we have my favourite of all the beetles, which is this one here. This is a longhorn beetle. So you can see he's really kind of nicely marked as well. Lots of white markings on the back, and he's got these amazing long antennae. So this is, yeah, my favourite definitely of all the beetles. But again, lots of nice joints on the legs, and yeah, nice example. So a lot of these fold up in different ways. Obviously with the beetles, their legs kind of fold in the same kind of way. But, the wing cases open, and it's all pretty similar. But a lot of them have got really clever kind of ways that things kind of fold in, different angles and that sort of thing. Okay, next we've got a praying mantis. This is probably my favourite of all of the insects, just because I love a praying mantis anyway. He's got really cool legs with like little feet that just kind of fold outwards. And again, really nice like antennae. Again, I'm lucky because mine's intact here with the antennae. But yeah, this one, I think he's got a bit of rust on one of his screws or something underneath. So at some point, I'll probably have to kind of clean that up a little bit. But otherwise, he displays really well and he looks really kind of minty. There's a bit of rust on this screw on this side as well. But I think probably I can get rid of that with a bit of WD-40 and maybe a cotton wool bud. Okay, I've seen this guy called Swamp Creature or Creature from the Black Lagoon, something like that. You can see, or just Lagoon Monster. He's really cool, really, nice bright green. And if you're into kind of horror movies and that kind of thing, then you'll be particularly fond of this one. His little grumpy face as well. I just love that little face. And then on the back, he's got little kind of fins. So another really nice one. This, again, was probably one of the harder ones for me to get hold of. And it happened to be that I was looking for, I think, Godzilla. And I didn't even know at the time that this one existed. And when it popped up, I saw it and I was like, I'm having that. Okay, so talking of Godzilla, this is the Godzilla egg monster. Now, when I first started collecting these, I saw him come up quite a few times for like 30 or 40 pounds. And at the time, I didn't buy him. And then there was this really weird thing happened where they didn't come up on eBay for ages. And when they did, somebody put one up for like £300 or something. And then I didn't see another one for ages. And I was absolutely gutted that I hadn't bought one for 30 or 40. And then luckily, I just happened to be looking one day and somebody listed one. They lived in Italy. And I bought it for, again, I think I'd probably only spent 30 or 40 pounds on it, which does seem a lot. But this was the last one that I needed, in this whole group. So I thought I'm going to get it while I can. So I'm really pleased with that example. Okay, if you're new to collecting these, there's something you need to be very cautious of, and that is this guy here. So you saw the Godzilla a second ago. You'll see this one is similar when you first look at it, first glance. It's a darker green, and it's got different scale pattern on the back, and obviously the head is different when you look at it. This guy's called Gamera, and yeah, quite often people will put him on eBay and they'll call him Godzilla. So be aware of that. It's not the Godzilla one, it's Gamera. This one you can normally pick up for about 25 quid. So yeah, don't be fooled into buying one thinking it's Godzilla. You can see them next to each other there. It's a lot darker green. Okay, next we have Pteranodon. I think it's also listed quite often as pterodactyl. But yeah, you get the idea with the wings here. And this is a nice blue example. With this one, I think quite often when you pick it up, it's been left out in the light for too long. And quite often the blue kind of has faded in the light and it's gone brown in colour. So be aware of that quite often the wings are a different colour to the actual egg. And yeah, it doesn't look nice at all when it's like that. So try and get a nice kind of blue example if you can. Okay, next we have some more horror ones. A bit like the creature from the Black Lagoon. We've got Dracula here. And this guy, you've got to be careful with him because he's only got small feet. So it's quite hard to kind of balance him and have him stood up. But you can see there that the egg part of him open up to form like his cloak, which is pretty cool. And then we've got Frankenstein. This is one of my favourite ones, just because, the egg parts come out and they form these massive shoulders, just make him look really beefy. And if you look at his face, he looks quite mad with his, eyes like open wide staring at you. He's pretty cool. I used to draw a little Frankenstein cartoon character when I was a kid, and this guy reminds me a lot of him as well. So this has a lot of kind of nostalgia for me just from that point of view as well, even though I didn't own this one as a kid. Next we have a werewolf, because what kind of a horror collection would be complete without a werewolf? He's got a cool little face, if I can get the camera to focus on it at some point. And then we've got this cool fur texture and this nice kind of two-tone brown effect for the body. All of these I think look great together. But what I was saying before about me only owning the skeleton when I was a kid, and this is what happens when you're a collector of toys. You know, you remember the one that you had as a kid. Maybe you start by buying that back, and then you look at the other ones by accident that are available, and you go, oh my God, they're all cool. And then you end up just buying one by one until you've got all of them. And then we have this mummy figure. You can see here all wrapped in bandages. Reminds me a lot of the Michelin Man as well. This one was another one that was quite hard for me to pick up, and is one of the ones that I bought towards the end of this collection as it is at the moment. Again, you can see it's a bit rusty on those screws at the bottom, but it's really hard to find one of these that's a nice clean example. Quite often the eyes have peeled off because that's like a sort of a sticker where the eyes are. Or there was one on eBay for ages that was all covered in kind of biro or marks or whatever, so, or yellowed versions. This guy is called Jason, and he's really cool with his like little skull face. Again, like I love anything that is kind of skeleton based, so this one appeals to me as well. So if you've seen my collection previously, my last video that I did, you'll see there were a lot fewer egg monsters back then. I've got a lot more now, and it's just a case of trying to figure out what other ones I still need. So if you know, please let me know in the comment. I know there's one that looks like a bit like a little helicopter, for example. These are the mascots, by the way, that came with them. So each one, when you bought them, they came with a little plastic kind of mascot. I've only got 4 little mascots, and I can never remember which mascot came with which figure, but I'll wait until I've got more of them, and then I'll put each one with the correct figure. So yeah, we've got this little mouse guy. Like I say, figure-wise, you know, there's the one that looks like a helicopter that I just mentioned. There's another one that I've seen that looks like a gorilla, so I might try and pick that up at some point. Again, that was another Bandai one. Here's another mascot. It's like a little bat. I think obviously this one probably went with Dracula. That would make sense. A little kind of vampire bat to go with Dracula. Yeah, if there was only like 1 or 2 more that I need to collect, I'll probably go ahead and collect them. But if there's like a dozen or something, I might kind of call it a day soon, because this is looking like a pretty cool collection as it is. Okay, next mascot is this little snake guy, all in a coil. It's quite hard, because they're so small, it's quite hard to get the camera to focus on them, but there you go. Pretty cool. Looks like he's got his little tongue sticking out the front, and he's got a little rattle on the back as well, like on his tail. Looks cool. So I'd love to collect all of the little mascots, but they're really hard to find kind of on their own. Occasionally they come up on eBay or whatever, and if I see them for a good price, like I think they tend to go for sort of £10-20 each. So if I can find one for more like 10, I'll probably go for it. Here's a little Frankenstein figure as well. So that would obviously have gone with the Frankenstein guy. I have seen on eBay, I've seen a little wolf, and I've seen a little bird type thing that I think goes with the Pteranodon. Anyway, I just love these little figures. Like anything that you buy where you get little things that come with them, like whether it be, you know, weapons with Star Wars figures, or, you know, little tiny mascots that come with egg monsters, anything like that appeals to me, because I can kind of display them next to the correct figure, and I think I just like organizing things like that. It's just the way I am. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been helpful to some of you, especially if you're just starting to collect these. By the way, there is another toy line from the 80s called Masters of the Universe Meteorbs, related to He-Man, and they turn into little animals as well. I've only got one of those so far, but I'll probably end up collecting those as well, and if I do, I'll do a video on those in the future. Like I say, let me know in the comments if you know of any others that I still need to get. Hit subscribe to see anything that I post up in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.